What's up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode podcast weekly real estate tip. And today I'm here to break down how to succeed as a brand new real estate agent here in 2025. So if you are a brand new real estate agent, or maybe you're not brand new, but you're struggling, how to succeed here in 2025. Look, I want you to understand that this is a hard, challenging market. Now, the good news is if you're new to this amazing industry, you don't have bad habits. You didn't experience the previous market, that 2012 through 2022, longest economic expansion, longest real estate expansion, longest bull market in recorded history. So damn easy to, develop bad habits because it was just easy street, man. You could just kind of show up, kind of wing it, kind of be consistent, be part-time, whatever, have low-level skill set and go out there and make multiple six figures. People are just making money hand over fist. It was, again, this period of time, this decade of time that we'll probably never see again in our lifetimes. And as the great Warren Buffett says, when the tide goes out, you see who's skinny dipping. So many people that either got in the market during that time, or maybe they were in previously as well, but it was such a long period of time to develop that comfort level where then they develop these bad habits. So the good news, again, is if you're new, you didn't experience that, you do not have any bad habits, but you need to deal in realities. I'm not saying this for fear porn to try to freak anybody out, scare anybody, but it's really important to deal in realities. Look, if somebody's coming at me to punch me in the face, I'm going to know they're coming. So then that way I can sidestep to get out of the way and just avoid that punch, right? So got to deal in realities. Right now it's a very challenging market. Things are going to get worse before they get better. When I say challenging real estate market, prices are still high, but we are in this unaffordability crisis like we have never seen. And it's never been more unaffordable to be alive as a U.S. citizen than it is right now. So that is making transaction volume just continue to decline. And now most markets, what we are seeing is listing inventory going up and up and up. Property sitting on the market longer, right? But buyer demand continue to come less and less, even though that prices are starting to soften in a lot of areas. Interest rates have gotten slightly better in a lot of areas, but our buyer demand continues to go down. Because look, you remove real estate from the equation, life has just gotten so damn expensive. Every time you go to the grocery store, go buy eggs, you go out to eat, you go fill up, everything's gotten so out of control, freaking expensive, and this isn't a quick fix. That's why I say things are probably going to get worse before they get better. This is a long, I don't know how they fix this problem, right? I don't know how. So it's things are naturally going to probably get worse. I don't have a crystal ball, but my guess is get worse before they get better. But that doesn't mean that you can't crush it. That doesn't mean you cannot succeed. You are in control of your success. Only you are in control of your success. So you can choose to go out there and crush it and dominate, or you can choose to struggle, or you could choose to become a statistic. Like the vast majority do that enter this industry. The statistic is something like 90% of realtors end up failing in the first 3 to 5 years. So if you were in school with 30, if there's 30 of you, 5 years later, there's only 3 of you left. I mean, that's just the stats of this. And it's not that real estate's so hard. That's just business. If you look on a long enough timeline, I think overall business is more like a 10-year timeline. But business overall, it's a very small percentage that succeed because a lot of people don't know what they're signing up for. They're not prepared. Well, today I want you to know what you're signing up for, and I want to make sure that you're prepared. So I'm going to dive into what you must do. And I got 6 things that you must do right out of the gate that are essential. These are like non-negotiables. It's not like, I'm going to pick 1, 2, and 4. No, all 6 of these are things that you must nail, that you must do if you want to succeed during this time. All right, so real quick though, before I jump into these 6 things, because you got to make sure that your strategy plan is in place. So today I'm not going to talk about necessarily going in depth on lead gen and strategy plan. We'll talk about that very briefly here in these 6 steps. But if you do not have your best strategy plan in place when it comes to new client acquisition to get dialed in, to get you from where you're at to where you want to go, I invite you to schedule a 100% free, zero pressure, zero string attached Zoom coaching call with me where we can spend that time together and really breaking down, what your overall goals are, what your market is like, based on where your market, because what works here in my market may not work in your market. Some things are universal, but there's a lot of differences as well. So we got to look at, what your situation is, what your market is, what your goals are, what your personal strengths and weaknesses are. And based on all of those things, come up with the best strategy plan for you. So if that's something that you want to take advantage of, go to www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. So it's a Zoom call. GSD Mode is the name of the podcast, so pretty easy to hopefully remember, right? www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. And on there, we're going to break down where your business is currently at, what your 12-month goals are, what your long-term goals are, what your biggest obstacles are. Then from there, I'm going to map out, and I promise you, I will make sure before you leave this call that you know exactly what you need to do from a client acquisition, so a lead gen strategy standpoint, exactly what you must do to make your goals a reality. Okay, so now let's get into the 6 things that you must do. And these are all things when I bring on a new agent into my organization, to my team, these are the 6 immediate things that I do with them. And I spend, like if I bring them onto my team, we do nothing for the first 14 days other than dial in these 6 things. Now, the sad part is I meet so many people that have been in this industry for 20 years, 30 years that still don't have these 6 things dialed in. So if you want to accelerate, I promise you, like take these serious, get out a pen and paper, write these down, take this serious, hone these in, master these things, dial these in. Your business will expand and grow very, very fast. Okay, so item number 1 is making sure that you have your tracking system in place. I get it. It is the unsexy part of the business, unsexy part of the industry. You know, everybody wants to talk about lead gen. But lead gen, it's hard, if not an impossibility, to have success and ongoing success with lead gen if you're not tracking your data and tracking your numbers. The reason why tracking is so important does 2 things for you. So number 1, it's the only thing that allows you to create predictability because it allows you to know what's working, what's not working, and create that predictability. So now you know exactly how much of what you are doing generates XYZ result. So, okay, let's just say I'm doing open houses, and I'm not telling you to go out there and do an open houses. There's 1,000 things that work to go out there and grow our business. But let's just say you're doing open houses. Okay, what am I going to be tracking? Okay, up front, I'm going to be tracking the day and time of the open house, what the neighborhood is, what the property address is, what the price point is, the number of signs that I put out, the number of leads. This allows me to identify property selection and start to know what the best areas, days, times, optimal signage out to go out there and maximize the amount of leads that I get from that open house. Then from there, now that I know how many leads I've gotten, then I need to know how much energy and effort. So then from there, I'm going to be tracking, okay, well, how many reach outs post open house? So I got these, let's just say I did this open house, I got 20 leads. Okay, well, how many reach outs after that? So overall reach outs, meaning dials, how many conversations, how many appointments set, how many appointment conductions, how many clients, how many closings, right? So this then allows that predictability where then you know, okay, hey, per 2 open houses that I do, or let's just say you're like, okay, well, I close, per 10 leads that I get from an open house, I get a closing. And maybe you're in an area where open house is a little bit slow, you're only averaging 5 leads per open house. Well, now that you know that, if you want to close 2 deals a month, you know that you got to do an open house every single weekend, right? So tracking creates predictability, but it's also the only way for you to see what areas of your business that you need to improve on. The quickest way to double or triple your business is not to double or triple your hours, not to double or triple the amount of money that you're spending, not to double or triple the amount of leads that you're generating. The quickest way to double or triple your business is get 2 or 3 times better at what you're already doing. And I do this with coaching clients all the time when I start breaking down their numbers. Like let's just say their appointment set to conduction rate is industry average at 50%. That number should be at 75%. There's only 4 things that we need to do, and they're super quick, easy things to increase that to get that to 75%. Then let's just say their appointment conduction to client taken ratio, 50% industry average. Well, again, there's only a couple things there that we can do that are but also very, very fast to do. Well, we can get that up to 85+%. So just those 2 improvements that are quick and easy to do that we can have fixed within a matter of a week or 2, then they've well over doubled their business by just honing in those 2 things. So the only way to know what you need to improve upon is going to be tracking your numbers. So number 1, getting your right tracking system set up inside your real estate business. Number 2 is getting your CRM set up correctly in your business. And when I say getting, like, you got to identify one, you got to make sure it's organized correctly, you got to make sure you learn it, and then you're working it correctly, and you got to be consistent with working it. So your tracking system is the most important system that allows you to make strategic, smart decisions in your business. Your CRM is the most important system that you're working in every single day. If you look at what is a CRM, customer relationship management system. We are in the human resource, human connection business, right? Like we got to manage these relationships with our customers, our potential customers, and it becomes an impossibility to keep all this stuff together if you don't have a great CRM in place. You're always going to be reliant on the lowest hanging fruit. You're always going to minimize your overall production, your overall potential. Okay, so item number 3 is making sure that you have a dialed in world-class listing presentation and a dialed in world-class buyer consultation. Now, I'm not saying that within that 14 days I bring on an agent, they're world-class at presenting them yet, but they plug it in my system right out of the gate. And then I have them start practicing this multiple times every single day. So then very quickly, I could take a brand new agent fresh out of school and then within about 30 days have them kicking the crap out of somebody that's been doing this for a decade when they go head to head with them on a buyer consultation or listing presentation. So you got to understand though that real estate is a two-step sales process as far as our industry. All that lead gen and lead follow-up that we do exists to set the appointment. Then we got the appointment that exists to go out there and present to them to articulate that you are the best real estate guide to get them from where they're at to where they want to go. One thing I love about real estate is we actually aren't selling a physical product. People are already sold on the fact they want to buy and sell real estate. What we are selling them on is, hey, I'm the best guide to help you get from where you're at with your real estate needs to where it is that you want to go. From point A to point B, I am the best guide to get you from point A to point B. I'm not selling a physical product. I'm selling me. So I got to be able to articulate, out of all the other agents out there, dude, it's not like we're not in a massively saturated industry. We are. Everybody knows multiple real estate agents, interviewing multiple real estate agents. You don't want to put all this energy and effort into all your lead gen and lead follow-up just to get to that appointment to flop it or to convert at a mediocre percentage. Okay, so number 4 is going to be your past client sphere of influence strategy. Now, you might be saying, oh, Josh, I'm brand new. I don't even have past clients yet. Or maybe you're like me, where not only are you brand new, you don't have any past clients yet, but you also just moved 2,000 miles away to a new freaking city where you don't know anybody. When I started off my real estate career. The reason why this is so important is this is your future gold. You get to that point after 5-6 years of being in this business where you do this right. Let's just say at that point in time, you're selling 100 homes a year. Well, 50, 60 of those are just, hey, Josh, you sold us this home. We're ready to go out there and list it, sell it, and go buy something new. Right? Like you get to that point where 50, 60% of your business, again, if you do this right after 5 or 6 years, is just, repeat past client sphere of influence business, which is the easiest to go out there and acquire. Doesn't cost you anything. They already know, like, trust you. They've already made up their mind that they're going to utilize you, right? It's the future goal of this business. But we know based on the stats and the reports and the surveys that NAR does, 88% of buyers and sellers interviewed post-transaction said that they really liked their agent. They absolutely would utilize their agent again. Only 11% ever do a repeat transaction with them, right? And why? It's not because of that agent did a crappier job over time in their head. No, dude, it's because they forgot who the hell their agent was. Most in this industry, collect this paycheck, collect this commission check, peace out, see you later. The best operators don't ever look at anybody as a commission check. They're focused on the lifetime value of that relationship. And this isn't just real estate. If you look at any great business, any great operator out there, they are obsessed over a lifetime value of each customer. So I know, let's just say your average commission in your market's 10 grand. Well, my recommendation to you is to not look at that as a $10,000, client, $10,000 commission closing. My recommendation is, hey, this client, if I do this right, and maximize on repeat referral business, that customer should be worth $70,000 to my business, right? And this just maximizes that future gold. And there's ways to 10x this, not just through your past clients, but building your sphere of influence. And I've had other podcasts where I cover that. So I won't go deep into that here today, but there's strategic ways to like 10x this, and 10x that speed and 10x the size of your sphere of influence past client base inside this industry. So you want to make sure that you have that honed in and dialed in as soon as you possibly can, so you don't become victim of being that agent that helps them close, checks that commission check, collects that commission check. You don't have a process and system in place. And look, the vast majority don't do this like intentionally. Right? It's unintentionally. They have good intentions. It just shit falls through the cracks, man. Systems and processes. Like we are in a skill set, a strategy, skill set, system, process game. It's 4 components, man. Again, strategy, skill set, system, processes. That is the game that we are in overall. Like you dial those 4 things in, make sure you got the right strategy, you've acquired the right skill set, and then you wrap that strategy into processes and systems, then boom, you're able to go out there and scale and do some amazing things inside this business. Gotta understand, this is a business. It's not a job. You got to treat this as a business. You got to be a great operator, right? Okay, so then item number 5 here is making sure that you got your new client acquisition strategy in place. So if you're brand new, if you're struggling, right, it's like, okay, hey, if maybe let's just pretend you're brand new. You don't have any clients. Like, okay, how am I going to go out? But your goal is to be popping 2 deals a month. So you're making 20 grand a month, within 6 months. And then you want to be hitting that consistently. Okay. Very easy to do if you have the right strategy. Put these things in place. It's very easy to go out there and do these things. Now I'm not going to say that getting these things in place, it's going to take time, energy, focus, but if you do this right, it's not that difficult to go out there and do that. So then from there though, we got to make sure based on what your goals are, based on what your situation is, based on what your schedule is, based on what your budget is, based on what your strengths and weaknesses are. And then also something that isn't talked about really ever in our industry is what do you enjoy doing, right? Now, I'm not going to sit there and say that you always can do the things that you enjoy, love doing the most, but in my experience, this matters because the more that I enjoy myself or enjoy doing something, even though it might still be work, but I enjoy doing it, the more energy, attention, consistency, mastery I'm going to put towards doing that thing. So we look at all of those things, and then based on that, then we reverse engineer your client acquisition strategy for you, because everybody, and this is one of the challenging parts of the market that we are in, and not the market that we are in. The time that we're in, right? So you go to YouTube, you go on podcasts, you go to real estate conferences, you go wherever, and everybody's like, oh, dude, this is the best, this is the best, this is the best. There's never been a time where there's more ways to grow our real estate businesses. And I'm here to tell you, dude, like, it all works. Everything works, nothing doesn't. All comes down to how well do you work it. So then right now it's like, okay, you go over here, oh, this strategy is the best, this, and the next thing you know, and I'm coming across this a lot in these free strategy calls that I do. People are realizing, hey, I got to do more, got to generate more leads. And then I start breaking it down. They're doing 8 different things, but they become a jack of all trade, a master of none. They're doing all these 8 things half-assed, right? They're not doing any of them intentionally with the right focus, with the right strategy. They're just scattered, they're spread thin, and they're getting no results. I'm a big believer in less is more. I'd rather you be doing a few things brilliantly and consistently and really master those things and putting those things together based on the things that we said to go out there and create your success. And again, it's different for everybody. So this is where putting that unique, nuanced kind of lead gen strategy for you, because again, it's nuanced. When people come to me all the time, like, what's the best? Well, again, it's nuance, man. The best for this agent may not be the best for you based on skills, strengths, weaknesses, based on market, other things, other factors there, right? Based on the budget, based on timeline, and other things. You might hear that, oh man, YouTube is the best way to grow your business. Now, I'm not going to disagree that YouTube is not an amazing source to grow your, it's absolutely phenomenal. Going out there and creating a YouTube channel, some of the highest conversion rates I've ever seen. It's amazing because they come to you. Everybody that's coming to you reaches out to you. They already know you, like you, trust you. They spend hours binging your content. The people that don't like you aren't going to ever reach out to you. Conversion, it's like the highest conversion rate lead source I've ever seen in my life outside of maybe past client repeat referral business. But as far as new client acquisition source, the highest converting lead source I've ever seen. Like, it's amazing on all these different fronts. However, though, it takes on average, depending on what market you're in, how many reloads and whatever, on average, I'm speaking averages here, takes about a year of creating consistent, great content and being extremely consistent with it before our channels start to get good and delivering consistent closings and consistent business. So, okay, if you have a year, okay, that might be a great strategy for you. But when I talk to agents, they're like, hey, dude, I need a paycheck in like 90 days or 120 days or I'm in a freaking bad position. Like, I got to turn things around ASAP, whatever. Okay, that might not be the right strategy for them. Or maybe it's hey, we're going to put this in place for your long-term, knowing that eventually this will overcome but then we got to put some prospecting, more immediate income producing strategies in place for them at the same time. So number 5, you got to make sure that you got your new client acquisition strategy in place with precision. And you got to know exactly how much of it you got to do, how many leads, how much energy and effort to create that closing. So many people underestimate this. Okay, and then the last item here, number 6, is you got to make sure you got a dialed in detailed schedule. So you should know from the second you wake up to the second you go to bed what you must do to go out there and win. And I'm not saying you got to work all day. Like, we all have lives outside of work. We got kids, we got families, we got kids soccer practices. We got crap that we got to do. Right? But everything should be planned out, and you should know, at least with your real estate business, what you must do from the second you wake up to the second you get in the office to the second you end your workday. What needs to happen for you to win? Most people don't know this. And this is why the vast majority of this industry loses. This is why 70% of realtors did not close one single transaction last year. And it's not just because this, right? But it's like, even when they go through those stints where they're ready to work, they're motivated to work, they're ready to put in the work, They don't know how to operate with precision. So you got to make sure that you know and you have a detailed schedule in place. Here's exactly what time I start my workday. Here's the first thing that I'm doing. So let's just say between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m., here's what you're doing. 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., here's what you're doing. 10 to 10:30 a.m., here's what you're doing. 10:30 to noon, here's what you're doing. Noon to this time, here's what you're doing. You got to know this with precision, and then you got to follow. So those are the 6 things that you must dial in as a brand new agent or struggling agent to make sure that you succeed in 2025. And again, if you don't know what the best strategy plan for you and for your business is, like I said, 100% free, 0 strings attached, Zoom coaching call with me, strategy coaching call, where we will sit down and break down what you're doing. And maybe that's, hey, I'm brand new, I'm not doing anything yet. That's okay. Yeah, right? But we're going to look at what your goals are, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what your obstacles are, what your market is, what your schedule's like, what your commitments outside of real estate are, based on all of those things. And just from coaching over 5,000 realtors, team leaders, and broker owners, I've just learned how to hone these in for people's different situations, scenarios, and come up with the best strategy plan, for you and for them. So you have my word that you will not leave this free Zoom coaching call without knowing exactly what you must do to get from where you're at to where you want to go. Then from there, you just have to execute. I can't execute for you, but I can make sure that you are delivered the plan, and I 100% will make sure that you deliver that plan on this free Zoom coaching call. So if this is something you're interested in, go to www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. All right, guys, hope this was helpful. Keep crushing it. Keep up all the amazing work, and I will see you next time. Peace.